Where there's so many strong, powerful, inspiring women doing really amazing things, and I didn't expect that, to be honest. Previous winners next to those legends, like, what are you talking about? It's just like crazy.
Tennis gatekeepers have operated unchallenged for decades, determining who earns recognition and deserves the spotlight in their exclusive world. Alex Eala demolished those barriers entirely when footage emerged of the 20-year-old Filipino sensation conversing in flawless Spanish before Madrid's opening match, creating a viral sensation across global tennis platforms. Watching this unfold was Aryna Sabalenka, the dominant world #1 fresh from claiming her third Australian Open championship in 2025. A player known for commanding every room she enters, rendered completely silent by what she witnessed.
Cada vez que vengo aquí siento muy cómoda, siento en casa. Llevo muchos años aquí en España, pues nada.
This isn't another uplifting narrative about overcoming odds, but rather a fundamental challenge to tennis establishments' predetermined hierarchy that dictates which nations breed champions and whose achievements warrant attention. Eala is dismantling that entire framework using Spanish as her weapon of choice, and the deeper question isn't her linguistic abilities but why the tennis community finds her fluency so startling. Growing up in the Philippines, Eala demonstrated exceptional talent before adolescence, earning recruitment to the Rafael Nadal Academy in Manacor, Mallorca, where she relocated during her formative developmental years. Surrounded by Spanish coaches, staff, and community members in an environment where English wasn't the primary communication method, she naturally acquired Spanish through complete cultural immersion rather than academic study, developing fluency through daily necessity and genuine integration into Spanish-speaking tennis culture.
Next tournament, I think, was a age group tournament. Yeah, I also lost. It did feel.
Her linguistic mastery represents far more than a biographical detail. It embodies the core of her transformation at the Nadal Academy, where she cultivated belonging alongside her technical skills. She evolved into someone capable of entering tennis's most intimidating venues with complete ownership rather than mere survival instincts. And Madrid's Madrid Open at the Caja Magica epitomizes exactly that intimidating atmosphere. The passionate Spanish audience brings sophisticated tennis knowledge and vocal appreciation, immediately distinguishing between genuine cultural connection and superficial attempts at scripted pleasantries delivered in broken pronunciation. Eala offered authentic conversation with confident, flowing Spanish that never hesitated or stumbled, creating an immediate impact felt by the crowd, press corps, and eventually the entire tennis world through social media amplification.
I mean, that's an honest truth to, like, getting to the top, is that it takes mental fortitude and not shying away from it.
Sabalenka's presence adds crucial context beyond her visible reaction. Arriving in Madrid as women's tennis's most suffocating force throughout her dominant 2025 campaign, her January Australian Open triumph over Iga Swiatek felt more decisive than the final scoreline suggested, extending her world #1 ranking beyond 100 weeks while transforming the Belarusian flag into a symbol of sustained excellence in a sport constantly cycling through emerging talents. Known universally among players, journalists, and fans as one of the tour's most magnetic personalities who fills rooms with infectious energy and transforms mandatory press conferences into entertainment, Sabalenka rarely encounters situations that catch her unprepared, making her genuine surprise all the more significant. The viral footage captured something unscripted and authentic, showing the world #1's unguarded reaction without diplomatic politeness or manufactured media moments, revealing actual astonishment that couldn't be performed or fabricated.
Does really well, and I think there's a lot of things that make her opponents feel very uncomfortable.
This authentic response exposed underlying assumptions within tennis culture more effectively than any analytical commentary could accomplish, specifically the presumption that a young Filipino woman should feel grateful for wildcard opportunities while hoping to compete respectably rather than commanding attention through cultural fluency. Eala has systematically defied those expectations throughout her career, beginning with her historic 2022 U.S. Open Girls Singles Championship that made her the first Filipino player ever to capture a Grand Slam junior title in tennis's century-plus professional history. While junior success doesn't guarantee professional achievement, as tennis history demonstrates through disappeared junior champions and successful professionals who never won junior titles, her breakthrough represented a significant signal of exceptional potential that she has steadily transformed into compelling evidence through her professional development.
Cada vez que vengo aquí siento muy cómoda, siento en casa. Llevo muchos años aquí en España, pues nada.
Navigating the brutal transition from junior competition to professional tours without the financial safety nets enjoyed by players from wealthy federations or established tennis infrastructure, Eala has fought for every ranking point and tournament entry, while often being the only Southeast Asian competitor in elite draws. Her steady climb into the top 100 in main draws at premier tournaments has positioned her in conversations that seemed premature just months ago, but now feel inevitable. with Madrid serving as the moment when global tennis attention finally matched what the Philippines already recognized. The Nadal Academy connection deserves deeper examination because it explains her competitive character development in one of world tennis's most demanding training environments, built around Rafael Nadal's philosophy that physical and mental resilience require deliberate and relentless training rather than emerging naturally from talent. Academy graduates don't merely improve technically, but learn authentic competition skills, pressure management, and the mindset needed to face higher-ranked opponents with genuine victory expectations. Eala absorbed these lessons while managing teenage isolation in a foreign country, pursuing goals most peers cannot imagine attempting, creating character formation that separates talented players from those who maximize their abilities. Social media reactions to the viral videos split predictably between celebration of Eala's achievement, fascination with Sabalenka's response, and skeptical voices questioning whether linguistic ability warranted such attention, missing the fundamental point that context creates significance. The moment resonated because of its unexpectedness, effortlessness, and occurrence before the tour's most dominant player in a way that registered visibly, representing proof that Eala's Nadal Academy investment constituted a comprehensive cultural integration strategy rather than simple tennis instruction. Her story demonstrates that elite tennis belonging isn't nationality-based, but earned through full commitment to excellence, showing how a player from a country without major professional champions can distinguish herself in the sport's most exclusive environments. Tennis has historically overlooked Southeast Asia, with tours dominated by European, American, and more recently Eastern European players, while Asian representation remains concentrated among a few breakthrough stars like Naomi Osaka, making Eala a proof of concept for an entire region previously told that top-level success wasn't achievable. This narrative becomes increasingly difficult to sustain as Eala continues developing rather than merely surviving, with her structured game improving through experience rather than peaking early and plateauing. Her powerful ground strokes, fluid clay court movement, and competitive instincts sharpened in manicore mean she doesn't surrender points easily or collapse under pressure, and while she hasn't reached Sabalenka's elite level, honestly acknowledging that gap is part of taking Eala seriously as a professional rather than inflating her story artificially. Madrid's clay surface at the Caja Magica creates opportunities for players like Eala to close gaps faster than expected by slowing ball speed, rewarding patient point construction over raw power, and favoring players comfortable in the environment, which connects directly to everything Eala developed during her Mallorca years as someone who learned peak performance on European clay while speaking the host country's language. Tennis gatekeepers have traditionally controlled narrative selection, determining which upsets receive prominent coverage, which players get marketed as future stars, and which achievements earn immediate elevation versus patient development, leaving Eala in undefined territory as too accomplished to ignore. But from a country outside traditional power structures, the viral moment accelerated this dynamic because internet audiences don't await gatekeeper permission, with millions drawing independent conclusions about a young Filipino woman standing confidently in Madrid, speaking native-level Spanish beside the world #1 without deference or anxiety, recognizing someone who clearly belongs. Once sufficient people reach that conclusion, gatekeepers lose their authority to control perception. Sabalenka's reaction represents a genuine shift in how tennis must consider Alex Eala moving forward. Not as future Philippine tennis potential, but as its current reality, a player who is present, competing, developing, and capable of making women's tennis's most recognizable figure pause mid-sentence in genuine surprise, which constitutes a rival by any reasonable standard. Her Madrid campaign is just beginning, and every moment deserves coverage with the same analytical depth and honesty applied here. Because this story extends far beyond what mainstream tennis media typically recognizes or reports. Understanding Eala's complete impact requires sharing this perspective with anyone who assumes they already know her narrative. Because the tennis world's assumptions about geographic limitations, cultural belonging, and championship potential are being systematically dismantled by a 20-year-old who learned Spanish fluency while developing into a legitimate threat to established hierarchies.